When you hold a man in a hug, you're not just touching his body, you're speaking straight to the part of him he rarely shows to anyone, not even the people closest to him. Most women assume men are simple when it comes to physical affection, but the truth goes much deeper, far more emotional, and far more powerful than most people expect. A hug can make a man feel valued, wanted, safe, respected, understood, or even completely unnoticed. And the moment you understand the 4 small things that quietly turn a hug from pleasant to unforgettable, the way he reacts to you changes right away. It's not about seduction, it's not about trying to be sexy, and it's definitely not about putting on an act. It's about presence, it's about intention, it's about waking up the part of him that only opens when a woman's energy makes him feel grounded instead of overwhelmed. Men don't talk about these things openly, they don't explain it the way women do. But they feel it every single time a woman gets physically close. That's why even the smallest shift in how you hug him can send a shock through his entire emotional system without a single word being spoken. And yes, there is one specific moment in a hug that almost every woman misses. A moment so small that most never notice it, yet it can turn a man's attraction from warm to intense. I'll come back to that in a minute. Before that, there's something important you need to understand about men. They're not pulled in by perfection, they're pulled in by how they feel when they're near you. A man's body reacts before his mind can explain why. When you wrap your arms around him, his nervous system instantly searches for warmth, softness, intention, and whether you're holding him out of routine or because you sincerely want him close. Here's something many women don't realize. Men crave emotional safety in a hug just as much as women do. They just get fewer chances in life to show it. When your hands touch him with certainty, when your body quietly says, "I'm here because I want to be," something deep inside him relaxes, something opens, something becomes attentive. This is where desire begins, not with looks, not with flirting, not with clever words, but with a second of emotional truth hidden inside physical closeness. But let me ask you something. Have you ever hugged a man and felt his whole body shift, like he suddenly softened into you or pulled you closer without thinking? If you have felt that, then you already understand how powerful this can be. And if you haven't felt it yet, you're about to. Because once you learn how to activate that instinct in him, he won't forget how you made him feel. It won't fade, it won't disappear. Because this isn't manipulation, it's connection. It's understanding the emotional language men rarely speak but always answer. Think back to the last time you hugged someone and felt fully present. Not pretending, not thinking too much, not trying to impress, just being in the moment. That exact type of energy is what he feels when a hug goes straight into his heart and stays with him. Most people underestimate how powerful that kind of stillness can be. And the surprising thing is that the 4 details that create this shift are usually the ones no one teaches women. Tiny adjustments, soft touches, timing that feels natural but lands perfectly in the emotional center of a man. One of these details doesn't even require a single movement. No shift, no extra touch, no dramatic change. It's something so simple that when you finally notice it, you'll wonder how you ever missed it. When you hug a man, you're entering the space where he hides his most unspoken feelings. Men carry so much inside that they don't verbalize. Sometimes they barely understand it themselves, but their bodies respond honestly. And when a woman hugs him with true intention, his body instantly reads it. He feels whether you're stiff or relaxed. He feels whether you're holding back or leaning in. He feels whether your hug is out of politeness or out of desire. And that difference can flip something inside him. Most men spend their whole lives trying to look strong, calm, and unaffected. But a hug, one real hug, can cut right through that armor. It can make him feel seen in a way he doesn't know how to ask for. It can make him feel appreciated in a way words never touch. It can make him feel chosen, and men crave that feeling more than they admit. When he feels a woman melt into him, even slightly, not in a dramatic way, but just enough to show she trusts him, Something inside him stands taller. He feels responsible in a good way. He feels protective without being pressured. He feels connected without being trapped. A real hug can give him a sense of purpose he doesn't know how to describe. And yes, it can even awaken desire without anything sexual happening. A hug that touches a man emotionally doesn't rush. It doesn't feel forced. It feels like a moment where time slows for just a second, where breathing matches, where two nervous systems sync without trying, where everything unnecessary fades. And this is where the hidden moment happens, the moment almost every woman overlooks. It's the pause. The tiny pause right after your arms settle around him. The 1 second stillness before you squeeze or shift. That pause is the moment his body says, "She's here." That pause is the space where his emotions catch up to the closeness. That pause tells him you're not hugging out of politeness, you're hugging with intention. Most women rush past it. They hug too quickly, too lightly, or too distractedly. But when you stay in that pause even briefly, his heart pays attention, his breath changes, his chest relaxes, his mind stops racing, and the hug transforms from something ordinary into something meaningful. That moment makes him feel chosen, and once he feels that, he doesn't forget. And the beautiful part is that none of this requires effort, none of it requires acting, none of it requires manipulation. All it takes is presence, real presence, the kind of presence that says, "I'm aware of you, and I'm not afraid to let you feel it." When you bring that energy into a hug, his entire emotional world reacts, and that is what makes a hug unforgettable for a man. Not the length, not the strength, not the technique, but the intention behind it. Once you understand that, everything changes. Another moment involves a pause that seems almost too small to matter, but it carries far more weight than people expect. And one of these things feels so natural that after you do it even once, you'll find yourself wondering why you never used it before. These 4 actions don't overwhelm him. Instead, they pull him closer. They make him want more without you chasing him, asking for anything, or hinting at a thing. They spark curiosity inside him, the kind he feels deep in his chest, rather than just thinking about in his mind. And if you've ever wondered why certain women make men lean in, soften, open up, or hold on a little longer than usual, this is the reason behind it. Before we break any of it down, you have to understand the emotional shift that happens right before a man chooses that he wants you closer. Without understanding this, nothing else you do will land the way it's meant to. There is a moment in every hug so fast most people never see it, where a man's body makes a quiet, instinctive decision about you. It happens before he tightens his arms, before he breathes you in, and before he lets his weight lean into yours. It's the moment his nervous system silently asks, "Is she meeting me here, or is she holding herself back?" That tiny half second decides everything for him. It shapes his level of desire, his degree of openness, and how emotionally connected he feels in that moment. It's the point where your presence either draws him in or passes right through him. This is where the first simple thing begins. Match his energy before you touch him, not by copying him or mimicking him, but by softening yourself just enough to send the message, "I'm here with you, not just standing next to you." Men feel this immediately. A woman who hugs him while her thoughts are somewhere else always feels distant, almost empty. But a woman who takes a single real breath, a genuine slow inhale before she reaches him, creates an emotional landing space inside him he didn't even realize he was waiting for. That one breath shifts your whole presence. It tells his body you're intentional instead of automatic. It tells him in a quiet way to calm down and meet you there. And when your energies meet instead of bump into each other, the hug becomes much more than physical contact. It becomes emotional, it becomes grounding, it becomes a place his nervous system remembers. That is the moment desire begins forming in the background, quietly but powerfully. The second thing is just as simple, but feels twice as strong. Don't rush the very first point of contact. Many women touch too quickly, lifting their arms fast and pulling in for the squeeze without a moment of build-up. But when you let your hands touch him a second before your full body arrives, it sends a completely different message. Your touch says, "I want to feel you," instead of, "Let's get this done." That 1 second delay melts men. It makes him feel chosen instead of just hugged out of routine. It wakes up something primal in him, something soft and protective at the same time, and it makes him hold you closer without even noticing he's doing it. And here's the part almost no one talks about. Men crave savoring. They pretend they don't. They act casual or unaffected, but their bodies react when a woman moves slow enough for them to actually feel each part of the moment instead of rushing to the end of it. That slow arrival makes him experience every inch of the connection instead of skipping past it. Then there's the third thing, and this one is so subtle it feels almost too gentle to matter. The pause at the height of the hug. This isn't a squeeze or a cling, it's stillness, a brief beat where your body stops moving and simply exists against his. Most women skip this completely. They go in, tighten and pull away. But this stillness, that tiny slice of presence, hits him in a way he never forgets. His body reads it as trust, as warmth, as something emotionally honest. It makes him feel seen instead of just held. And for a man who rarely gets the chance to feel emotionally safe with anyone, that stillness becomes something his mind and body hold on to long after you separate. He won't say it directly. He might not even understand what made the moment feel different, but his body will remember it and seek it again. The fourth thing is the one that shifts everything, and it's something almost no woman thinks about: how you release him. Most people end a hug the way they end a handshake, quick, polite, sharp, almost like a line being cut. But when you let your hands soften first, when your arms relax before your body steps back, when you give a slow, gentle exit instead of a fast break, you send a message straight into the emotional part of him. It tells him the moment mattered. It tells him you didn't just drop the connection the second the hug ended. It gives him a final warm echo instead of a cold disconnect. And that exit, that soft release, lingers in him longer than you think. It leaves a quiet imprint that pulls him back towards you the next time without him knowing why. It tells him you weren't just present in the hug, you lingered, you stayed with him, not in a clingy way, but in a soft, feminine way he didn't see coming. That slow release creates contrast. It leaves a small ache. It makes him wonder why that moment felt so unexpectedly good. And that question becomes the beginning of wanting more. But there's something happening even deeper than all of this. Something most women don't realize. A man's attraction grows in the silence that follows the hug. Those few quiet seconds where he adjusts his breathing, steadies himself, and returns to his body. If your exit leaves his mind calm and his chest warm, he won't only want you, he'll miss you before you even take a full step back. And that is the moment he starts craving your presence, long before he is ready to admit it to himself. Many women think the magic of a hug exists only while they're held in his arms. But what truly moves a man is everything that stays with him after the touch ends. The emotional afterglow, the quiet shift inside him, the way his body reacts to your presence once you're no longer touching. Men don't study this or break it down with logic. They simply feel it. And the more he feels instead of thinks, the deeper it settles inside him. This is why the end of a hug influences him just as much as the beginning. When you step away, you create a sudden space, a small emptiness his mind and body instantly rush to fill. And what he feels inside that space decides whether he wants you closer or whether he lets the moment pass. This is where timing matters more than most women realize. If you pull away too quickly, it tells him you are being polite, not truly connected. If you stay too long without intention, it becomes pressure instead of ease. But when you release slowly, your hands soft, your breath steady, your energy warm and gentle, you activate something he rarely experiences, the feeling of being valued without being needed. That alone places you in a different category from nearly every woman he's ever embraced. Men are not used to feeling desired in a way that isn't sexual or tied to expectation. They're not used to a woman holding them simply because she wants to feel them, not because she hopes to get something back. So when you give him a hug that feels safe, grounded, and emotionally present, he goes quiet inside, deeply quiet, and that quietness is the beginning of longing. Here's something most women never understand. A man's desire doesn't start with excitement. It begins with clarity. When a hug gives him clarity about his feelings around you, when he senses calm instead of confusion, when his chest loosens instead of tightening, that's when he wants more. Not out of hunger, but out of connection. So when you step away, let your eyes meet his for a single second. Not with intensity, not with demand, but with soft warmth, subtle and steady. That tiny moment of eye contact leaves a mark far deeper than anything you could say. It tells him, I'm here. I see you, and I am not pretending. Men crave that. They crave being seen without being judged, felt without being measured, held without being tested. Your eyes continue what your arms began. They anchor him. They make him wonder why you feel different, and that question gets louder the longer he thinks about you. This is why you shouldn't speak right away. Let there be a little silence. Let him sit in the echo of the moment. In that silence, his mind replays the hug, trying to understand why he suddenly feels warm, lighter, or unexpectedly drawn toward you. He won't find the answer, and that mystery is exactly what pulls him deeper. Desire grows from confusion, wrapped in comfort, and you become the comfort he can't quite explain. But here's the beautiful irony. People often describe men as emotionally simple. Yet when you hug him in this way, when you match his energy, slow your touch, pause in stillness, and let go gently, you activate layers inside him he doesn't show anyone. The protective part, the softer part, the grounded part, the part that only comes out when he feels both safe and stirred. And that is where the emotional shift fully takes shape. He stops seeing you as just sweet, kind, or pleasant. He begins seeing you as feminine, steady, magnetic, the kind of woman whose presence makes him straighten his back, breathe deeper, and feel more like the version of himself he wants to be. That feeling is what men chase. Not beauty, not charm, not perfection. Presence, your presence. And the deeper truth is this. When a hug leaves him more centered than he was before he touched you, he won't just want you. He will seek you. He will start the conversation. He will lean in more. He will remember you long after he walks away, and he will crave that next moment he gets to feel that same quiet, powerful shift inside himself. The shift only you created. The shift he didn't know he was waiting for. The shift he won't be able to forget, because it didn't just touch his skin. It reached the part of him he rarely lets anyone access. And here is the part most women don't realize. Men remember how you made them feel in the in-between moments. Not the dramatic ones, not the loud ones, but the soft, quiet seconds that sneak up on them. When you hug him with intention, when you exit the moment with calm energy, when you let your presence linger without holding on too tightly, you give him something rare, something peaceful, something grounding. Men hunger for that without even knowing it. They crave the woman who gives them a feeling they don't know how to describe. And that feeling begins, not while he holds you, but in the moment you let go. Your softness becomes the reason he replays the hug later. Your calm becomes the reason he smiles alone in his car. Your slow release becomes the reason he thinks about you in a way he wasn't expecting. Your presence becomes the place his mind returns to when he needs comfort he won't ask for. And suddenly, without saying a word, you become the woman whose memory rests in his chest. He won't know why he feels it. He won't even try to explain it, but he'll know one thing very clearly. He wants more of you, more of your warmth, more of your steadiness, more of that quiet shift you create inside him. And that is the moment attraction stops being light and becomes deep. The moment he stops thinking and starts feeling. The moment he realizes that something about you changed him, even if only for a second. And it's the moment he begins to crave you, long after the hug is over.